Hello, everyone. We thank you for joining the J-MENA project. So today, I think it's our last academic session for the year 2022. We are so happy to be active, and everyone is joining the J-MENA project. We hope all these academic seminars are fruitful, are giving the good information for everyone to have a good idea about the different topics. So today's session is from Akita University with Miyake Sensei. So we welcome Miyake Sensei and we appreciate your cooperation. Everyone who's having a question or any inquiries, do not hesitate to write it down on the chat box and then we will answer it together. Thank you, everyone, and Miyake Sensei, yoroshiku onegai itashimasu.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to meet you. So let me start talking about the languages as a linguist who has been working on mainly Austronesian languages. Today, I would like to talk about what the language is and what is going on in with this language in the environment where globalization has such a development. Okay, so Louis-Jean Calvet has a model called the ecological gravity model of languages. He classified, divided all the languages of the world into 4 concentric circles. I have only 3 concentric circles here because super hyper central language is hidden here. However, according to Jean-Louis Calvet, all the languages of the world are located in this model. That is that everybody is born in a community, for example, mass language, vernacular, everybody speaks and communicates, eats, talks, cries in this language. Then next to mass language, you have central language, alias national or official languages, or more prestigious languages in the local. Then over central language, you have hypercentral language. Then actually over this hypercentral language, there is a super hypercentral language, which is now English. Morocco's example shows this kind of model. Berber is their mass language. On the other hand, their central language is Arabic. Over that, they have French. And in this globalized society, globalized the country, then you've got English covering all the mass languages and central languages, super central languages. I try to give this Javanese example. Javanese is a language spoken in central and eastern part of Javanese island in Indonesia. They have so-called Low Javanese, which they speak with friends among, well, everybody as among friends and in same level people, same social strata. On the other hand, when they speak to older or higher social class, or among higher social class in official sphere, they speak High Javanese called Kromo. So they are going back and forth between Ngoko and Kromo. On the other hand, at school, they speak their national language called Bahasa Indonesia. The language is very much exposed to the hegemony of English, spreading English as a global language is an indirect cause for the language dying. Look at New Guinean languages, and also so many languages in remote islands of Indonesia. But historically, those language deaths already occurred and even caused by politics. For example, in the Japanese communities, Ainu, the Japanese indigenous people's language, was banned until the 1960s after the Meiji Restoration, in order to form the Japanese language, to form the Kokugo, in order to unify Japan, Nihon, Nippon. Ainu people were banned to speak their own language. Since then, Ainu language was stigmatized. Those Ainu people who spoke Ainu language in the classroom at elementary school were punished. In this way, Ainu language was deleted from Ainu people's life. Matsuda Kenji, who is the head of Akanko Lake Kotan, the Akanko Lake Ainu community, said to me, I happened to meet this person last October who cannot speak Ainu language, whose name all Ainu peoples have simply Japanese names. Unfortunately, Ainu language, well, it's considered to be categorized into the nearly dying language, but in terms of their personal names, Ainu language is already dead. Some people might say, what's wrong with the globalization of English? Indeed, Japanese is also trying to teach English as a really, really basic at universities. Everybody must have certain points in TOEIC tests. It's ironical that I speak now criticizing that situation of English globalization in English. You might say, because English has been globalized, we do not have to speak our native language. English is enough. Cited by a Dinka person's talk. But because of that native language, indigenous language should be preserved. Those people who have not gotten access to English in villages, in remote islands, remote villages, who were left out would be more abundant from this globalized society. Those people who could get higher education and speak English are the only people who can survive in this globalized society. This is something that we would like to address. For us, language classifies this chaotic world. This is my okay, I have something. Okay, so let me give some definitions of language for me, and also I'd propose that language classifies this chaotic world. What does it mean? Without thinking, without speaking in language, human beings do not exist. Language is considered unique to human beings' ability, and language the one which led human being to survive on this globe. Let me think of how language is structured. The first step is a binary oppositions. This chaotic world, we have no boundary, but language tells that you have right-hand side, left-hand side, up and down, front and back, man and woman, young and old, black and white, day and night, hot and cold, small and large, expensive and cheap. In this way, language classifies this world first into two categories. More importantly, indeed, we live in language. We move, we learn, we think, we play, we love, hate, discuss, all in language. Thinking of this hot topic of discrimination. Discrimination, as well as racism, hatred, is also a language product. Linguistic manipulation is often caused and often causing discrimination and racism, which has caused another level, that is violence. In this sense, language is a significant starting of human social life. However, language is indeed a physical matter too. how human being articulates, speaks, pronounces a word. This is the only organs human beings accurately produce their language. Starting from vocal folds, then either oral cavity or nasal cavity, lips, tongues, velum, alveolar here. These are the organs which produce the language. Language has many, all over the language of the world have many universal factors. All the languages have these features. One of them is that using these organs, language pronunciations are divided into vowels and consonants. Vowels and consonants are both articulated by these organs here. As you see from this figure, illustration, actually this is the same position. Left-hand side means the top of the face when you look at as a profile from side. So this is I go to back. Vowels cannot be counted because inside the mouth, oral cavity has no distinction inside. Therefore, it's always approximate how to pronounce. That is the reason vowels, many language vowels prefer to be different as possible. Japanese vowels are those Japanese vowels are typical Japanese language, typical vowels. The languages of 5 vowels are most common in all the languages of the world, according to the research. Why? I, A, O, U. There is a very clear. You do not make a distinction. You don't make a mistake between E and A, right? You prefer E and A, E and A, E and O and U and A, U, E. These are clearly distinctive. If you do not have those edge vowels and your vowels are concentrated on this one, it's a bit hard, isn't it? So in this sense, vowels are considered or made, each language has got quite clear vowel distinctions. That's a clever product of human beings indeed. It's true, some languages have a few central vowels located in center, the schwa, yes, as you see. But even English has got only schwa here, only one central vowel. Consonants have many human consonants here, and left-hand side is voiceless, right-hand side is voiced. So as you see, PB, PD, you see. Plosive means stop sound, and b, 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 and b, b, b. These distinctions seem to be quite common to many languages, but for example, these distinctions between P and B is somehow, well, it's rather difficult for Arabic speakers as well as Korean speakers because of the Korean consonants has a P and a B alternates, and also they have aspirated form as well. Nasal, trill, tap, fricative, lateral, approximate, lateral approximate. These are ways how they pronounce. Probably you can figure out. For example, trill, trill, brr, like this one is bilabial, trill. So brr, it's not very clear. And also this is, excuse me, dental, trill. Brr. Japanese has got difficulty in learning the trill. And also uvular trill, like in French or Dutch. That is something I have got difficulty in pronunciation. Tap and flap. This is a, yes, this is a typical of Japanese radiruredo. If you have some questions, just interrupt me. Yes. Okay. And fricative, you have several consonants. Instead of plosive, that is stop, PB, fricative is also F, as you can see. Yes. Okay. It is not stopped, but you see fractation. Okay. Lateral fricative, approximate. This is the English R, especially American English R, called round R. Those are this is the chart of consonants which are observed among all the languages of the world, because every human being has got the same organ for articulation. Everybody has dents, teeth, everybody has got alveolar, and everybody has got tongue. Therefore, human beings have those pronunciations. Another universal fact is that all the languages have subject, verbs, and objects. However, orders could be different. If you have 3 elements, that is subject, verb, and object, then thinkable order of the language is that SOV, SVO, OSV, OVS, VSO, VOS. This is just a mathematic calculation. 3 times 2. However, majority of all the human being languages are not much, well, 90% are SOV and SVO. What is English syntax? What is the English word order? If somebody can tell. Somebody can write, or somebody can raise hand. Okay. And Japanese, on the other hand, has SOV order. Okay. Old English, Arabic, Filipino, Biblical Hebrew are VSO orders. OVS is interesting, but you can see, yes, Dima, you wanted to say something?
Yes. I think Arabic is SVO.
Excuse me. Hold on. Sorry. Let me just, sorry to make you wait, but allow me to set up this speaker because we can't hear very well. Hold on. Okay, Dima.
Hi. I think Arabic is SVO, subject, verb, object.
I see. Okay, thank you very much. Yes. Okay. Okay, my textbook is okay. Yes. Thank you very much for pointing out. I also heard some time before. Yes. Okay. So Arabic is SVO. Yes. Hello, Dima.
Hi. So this.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Sumimasen, sensei.
No. I really thank you. Yes. I heard that Arabic is moving to SVO form, that from VSO form. But let me check. Thank you for pointing out. Okay. And also, in all the languages have got, well, all the languages have nouns. That's how we can see human beings started their language. Nouns first, then they have verb, then adjectives are somewhat the third elements of the language. I read, he killed, I kissed, she woke up. Okay. She woke up early, and this is a black coffee, for example. Black coffee. It's an adjective here, but it is also a noun. Adjective seems to have been developed from noun and also verb. Japanese also has this verb adjectives, or even sometimes we call noun adjectives. Kirei da, bijin da. This kind of adjective is a product from nouns. Okay, next. Okay, language. Now let me go to further before talking more about this classification. Language is a symbol, but at the same time, language is arbitrary. Why do you call the chair isu in Japanese? or kursi in Indonesian. On the other hand, why do you call desk square in Japanese, meja in Indonesia? It's not relevant. It doesn't matter. Important thing is that the line between desk and the chair here. In order to differentiate isu from square, chair from desk, you have different words. Therefore, language is a categorization. Categorize between, well, for example, from a certain color, white to black, you've got all this gradation. You don't have distinction from white to black or from light to dark. There is no distinction. Language, the one which distinguishes. In this way, so signifier, chair, and signified of chair, these are significant because it is distinguished from desk. Likewise, my name Miyake is different, Yoshimi is different from Dima. In this way, language distinguishes, okay, classifies. Okay. It differentiates, for example, right and left hands, right hand, left hand, from finger to hand, from nail to tip of the finger. They distinguish in language. Okay. I also wanted to point out, language is all equal. There is no superior or inferior language. Language has no superiority, no inferiority. If someone thinks that his or her language is superior to others, that language would be much farther than any superiority. Because powerful language, such as English, they can expand so that they get even simpler and simpler. Powerful language tends to become pigeonized. They start losing this complicated, complex structure of the language. Okay. For example, you, singular you and plural you in English. In Indonesian, Malays, a simplified tense. Again, going back to English, they lost gender distinction between feminine and masculine. In this way, powerful language is simpler. For linguists, complication and this isolated language go together. Therefore, there is no superiority. There is no wonderful language. There's no superior language. So those Nazi, German Nazi or Japanese military were talking about proudly of their language. They were clearly wrong. So this is what the language contact is. The more popular, the simpler the language is. In terms of this language as a classifier, classifies very complicated situation. Let me give some examples from gender issue, counter, and some classification based on mythology and tradition. Probably I will not have time to talk about the third category, but you have complicated gender language. Gender languages are some Indo-European languages and Semitic languages. Then there's many more others which have gender languages. I just try to, well, just now distinguish, of course, gender language. Well, for example, well, the red one is non-gender language, and the blue ones are a gender language. Mountain, earth, sky, all those nouns, some are feminine, some are masculine. It has nothing to do with this masculine and feminine, but again, as a symbol, the differentiation between masculine, feminine is important. When the sun is masculine, moon could be feminine. Another differentiation is also possible. You cannot make some theory why this is masculine, why this is feminine. In all the languages, all the different languages are different from each other. Japanese doesn't have this gender differentiation in terms of the language, but conceptually in their Shintoism, they have this idea in literature. Mountains are feminine, earth is also feminine, sea is many times masculine, sun is feminine, as you see from this sun goddess. Okay, you have several masculine, feminine gods, several human masculine, feminines. Okay. On the other hand, those Hebrew and Arabic, God is masculine. In terms of the language. Now, we have to hurry up. So, another classifier is a counter. Let me give an example of hon, bon, or pong. As you see, apparently many of you are very good speakers of Japanese. I notice a Japanese hon is used for a bottle of beer, a pen, a lace, something long and thin object. Even here, you can say 100本の紙, like Adelant's commercial, TV commercial. 1000本はただ. For example, 1000 hair planting is free. And also teeth also can be counted if 1本, 2本. Okay. But also TV programs, judo match, ball games, telephone call, letter, films, cassette tapes, even injections can be counted with the hon. Like a very popular TV caster or wide show MC may have 5 hon, 5本 TV programs, judo 1本, 卓球1本取った. I got 1 hon in the game. Basketball also 1本. Baseball, home run 1本. Hit 1本. 1 point, 1 hon. Telephone call. I called ippon to school, for example. I sent a letter, ippon. This year, I saw 10 Hong films, 10번 films. I had 1번 주사 injection. Why? Why? Then the Hong, we notice that is it shows this our image of long thin object. That's basic. That's prototype of Hong use. However, when it comes to this TV program, radio program, or sports game like ball game or judo ippon, it shows certain movement, starting of the movement, or time flow from starting to the end is also considered like a one long thin object. So starting of the game or starting of the hitting with a bat, hitting the ball with a bat or racket, tennis racket, ping pong racket. You start it, then ball goes to get point. That's one Hong, because it's a long thin imagery of imagery. So then why judo? Judo also start 始め till the end. Okay, ippon. So starting to the end, it's a one certain thin, long image. Then finally, when it ends, you get ippon. If this line, long thin object imagery doesn't end, doesn't finish, you can't get ippon. Likewise, when you hit a foul, and somebody catches it, yes, then you don't get ippon. When it starts and it ends, completes, then you can count ippon, nihon, sanbon in this Japanese language imagery. So this kind of classification is, well, this is one try to think about not only this form of object, physical object, but also imagery also is related to the classification of the language. Language classifies something which is also metaphorical. This is an Australian Aboriginal language. When they talk about certain objects such as man, kangaroo, we have all those lists, yeah? They have to add 4 kinds of classifiers before the noun, such as bawi, balan, balam, bala. And to what they put bawi, balan, balam, bala are so confusing apparently to outsiders, but the speakers point out what would be bawi, such as man, kangaroo, opossum, as you see on this list. Why? Of course, we non-speakers of this language have to think. And well, there was a very complicated study about it, but as you see, Bawin and Balan, men and women are clearly differentiated. And it has been concluded here, at least in terms of difference between Bawi and Balan, men are somewhat edible things you can eat, and also something related with the positive part of the myth. On the other hand, Balan had something to do with the poison, evil, violence. Well, yes, I just want to introduce those apparently very complicated classifiers. To conclude, language classifies this chaotic world. And there's mass language or minority languages and durable, which is almost disappearing. These are the ones who sustain this worldview. All the human beings have equal ability for language acquisition. Universal features observed in all the human beings, such as vowel consonant articulation and syntax form. But still, as shown before, language is cultural specific. Globalization is surely to be blamed for the minority language deaths. We must have drastic protection methods for the language maintenance. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy. Thank you.